you scroll down to the bottom there, Michael, real quick, you'll see a certain face in the middle of your screen there.
Oh my God, Chris Metzen's back, but it's his face. Chris Metzen's face.
From a long time ago.
Yeah, this is, hang on, let me. There we go.
Fantastic. Yeah, so...
Facial hair is where the power comes from, as is evidenced by Matt currently.
Yeah, so did you figure out, let me try that again, when my brain works this time. Chris Metzen had a post about lore in 2006 whenever TBC shot the bed horribly hard. And we read it again, we're like, this is a crazy post. I wish anyone at Blizzard would speak like this today. This is astounding and this is incredible.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Truly unbelievable.
I'd almost want to like shout growl everything here because apparently that's what Chris sounds like. Hey y'all. Okay, and specifically to address your concerns, I will give you back the controls.
Fantastic.
And I shall get my local copy because my eyes are slightly uncomfortable with how far that is away. Maybe I should indeed get an upgraded glasses prescription.
Probably. Yeah, so this opens up basically, if you're not familiar, and you're probably not familiar, did you know that TBC completely destroyed and retconned the hell out of the Draenei, and Metzen didn't even realize till the game was done?
Like, so, nothing to do with white powder.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You got to remember, Chris Metzen was very busy. Chris Metzen was not just a WoW guy. Chris Metzen worked on Diablo, and remember, Diablo 4 was in development in 2007. It was just being made in Blizzard North.
Diablo 4?
Sorry. Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, Diablo 3. There was like a full Diablo 3 made by Blizzard North. And like at that point, Chris Metzen was still the overall big creative dude. You got StarCraft, which by this stage, remember, is like 2006, 2007. StarCraft 2 comes out 2010, maybe 2010. Yes, 2010. Yes, 2010.
I'll take your word for it.
So he was busy dude. That's why things slipped between the cracks. And that's why with Metzen coming back, it's pretty cool that he's only working on WoW because it will allow him to focus, perhaps much like how, back in the days of Warcraft 3, he was like, oh, Warcraft 3 and WoW, that's my shit. So, right, to be totally upfront with you guys, it's my bad, straight up. There you go. Imagine if in response to J-Lore or any of the narrative weirdness of World of Warcraft, we had this level of communication. Because, have you noticed, they've been very willing to be, like, a bit more open about some game design decisions that haven't worked out, or talk about what's informing their new directions, but, like, narrative, very, very, very just, those lips are sealed closed.
Yeah, it's
there may be broadly good news on that front in the future. Yeah. The obvious lore contradiction with Sargeras and his encounter with the Aradar was clearly documented in the Warcraft 3 manual. I wrote those bits about 4 years ago, and to be totally honest, I simply forgot.
Just forgot his own lore?
Genius, right? With my excitement to get the Draenei up to speed and root them more firmly in the setting, I forgot to do my homework and go back all over my earlier writing. I can assure you no one's more crushed by this mistake than I am. I spent the last few days kicking my own ass over this one. Sucks to fail. It may not always be evident, but we take this story stuff really seriously at Blizzard. It's been one of my personal missions at this company to maintain a high level of integrity throughout the Warcraft game setting. All of them, actually. These words are fun. Oh, these are hilarious. And I think we've done a pretty decent job of upholding continuity over the years. It's important to note that world building is far bigger than just storytelling. It requires, in my humble opinion, a certain amount of flexibility. Sometimes you need to expand certain ideas or retcon whole sections of continuity to broaden the scope and accessibility of your setting. There are a good number of these types of situations already, like totally revising our timeline, suggesting trolls were progenitors to all elven subspecies, etc. There's 100 other examples. To make an omelette, you need to break a few eggs. WoW's one big omelette. The trouble is, this has become a pretty big setting. There are literally thousands of characters, hundreds of locations, and all sorts of creatures, items, and plot themes that define the world. As you can imagine, it's a lot to police. Sometimes things do fall through the cracks. Mistakes get made, and we're forced to scramble to come up with clever solutions to continuity errors, like Hakar. Oh, man, look at this style of smiley face.
Yeah, that's an old one.
When's the last time you saw a smiley face that looked like that?
Unhinged.
I'm explaining all this not to excuse this particular mistake, but to give you some understanding of how the mistake was made. I've read a fair few posts over the last few days, and I know there's a lot of confusion and frustration surrounding the whole Eridar Draenei train wreck. Believe me, I know exactly how you feel. At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of geeky fanboys and fangirls, and we all got pretty fired up when people started screwing with the worlds that we love. If anything, all the venting, creative suggestions I've seen over the past few days have reinforced for me that you guys really do care about this world and its troubled denizens.
So, hello. Anyone who thinks our criticism is a little bit unfair, a little bit unfounded, please read this. We do it from a place of genuine adoration and love and obsession. Thank you. Continue.
Mr. fucking 2 Night Owl podcasts over here.
There'll be a third after 10-2.
That's going to be a third.
Yeah. Please. Please help. I need it to be over.
So, what's the story, Blizzard? This actually, you know what? This may not be key, but I think this is probably going to be fun. Yeah. What is the real scoop on the Eridar Draenei then? At this point, even though the new lore directly counters the Warcraft 3 manual, we're still going to run with it. There's a lot of reasons for this, not least of which I think it's far stronger than what I crafted back in the day. The Eridar were not necessarily all evil. Sargeras did come to them and tempt them with power. They did not make Sargeras crazy. This gives the Eridar more dimensionality and roots the Draenei to a key moment of Burning Legion history. We've also woven all this new lore into an upcoming novel by Christy Golden, author of Lord of the Clans, that depicts the Draenei's escape from Argus and the rise of the Horde on Draenor. This book dominates!
Good shit.
Yeah.
That's right, too.
And you're really going to dig it. Duratan, Ner'zhul, Gul'dan, Doomhammer, Hellscream, Warlords of Draenor, basically.
Yeah.
Warlords of Draenor 1, no screwy.
Yeah, I'm going to assume this doesn't mean something else.
I'm getting geeked up just thinking about this. However, this new lore does leave a large hole. How did Sargeras go nuts? What drove him to
Apparently everyone did.
The jailer! Chris forgot his own lore again. Because the jailer was the conclusion of the Warcraft 3 arc. That's why the patch was called Eternity's End.
Could you imagine? It was like, sorry, I forgot, actually. Oh, dear.
So, anytime you hear people defend that, no, he didn't know, it will be his encounter with some evil race who dares me to use old gods, but it won't be the Eridar.
Nice.
And then it's just going to be like, yeah, you, man, I'll chew on this. Maybe we'll solve it by the end of the expansion. This is the flexibility I was talking about earlier. And see this smiley face here? This is the face of Zoval. This is the first canonical appearance of Zoval in the Warcraft canon.
That was his wee sketch, like.
Yeah, we found it. World of Spacecrafts. Another concern I've been hearing is the inclusion of certain sci-fi elements. I appreciate this stuff. That's not how he talks.
Like 3D printed robots?
This is pretty far out, but there's a whole point. Outland and the greater universe out there in the void are far out. Change is always difficult. I remember people getting really upset about dwarves with guns, steam tech, Gnomeregan as a high-tech city. Many people had a hard time rolling with those technologies in a fantasy setting, but I ask you all, can you imagine WoW without those elements now? Yes. I mean, what would we use to play, like, ball games in Azeroth if there was not gnomes?
Yeah, I see. Yes.
You know, all those great vanilla and TBC era machinima jokes about a gnome getting punted. Could you imagine the setting without it? We're definitely throwing some new concepts at you all. But
Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Chatter having fun with smileys. Pitiful mortals. Very good, very good. Oh dear.
Oh, you know the way you can set like little text snippets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should set a text snippet of that smiley face just like auto types in pitiful mortals. Oh, yeah. I'm very confident that when you're able to see these elements in context, over the course of gameplay, you'll understand why we're excited to include them. Now, to be clear, we're not putting the Millennium Falcon be cruising around in the game. The Draenei Nethership you've been hearing about is far more than it seems. It's part of a larger dimension-traveling fortress called Tempest Keep that essentially teleports through alternate realities. It doesn't bank and roll and shoot proton torpedoes, not yet anyway. We're not planning on going wild hog.
Oh my god, not yet anyway. And what did the Vindicar do? Shoot big laser
Yo!
beams?
Look at this. Conceptual balance is everything.
Someone didn't write that in the fucking handbook. Yes.
Blood elves sure get around. I also saw some strangeness about the apparent contradiction of how Blood Elves could have sabotaged this Draenei Nethership since they're all holed up in Kel'Thalas. Remember, there are twisted Blood Elves in Outland who have been there since the Frozen Throne campaign. It's those creepy elves who sabotaged the Draenei's flight to Azeroth. I'm afraid I would elaborate further, but I'd spoil your appetite for dessert. That sounds like a menacing villain line.
All right, they're Hannibal.
That's the problem with Hannibal. Like, the food all looks real tasty, even though it's people.
Yeah, it's sort of the point.
Yeah.
Sort of the point.
Good show, good show. In conclusion, I just want to reiterate, we do take continuity errors very seriously. It's also very important that you feel like you can trust us developers. And know we're out to build a world that's worthy of your time and your passion. There you go. Words of the Metzen.
Yep.
Knowledge.
From 2006.
From 17 years ago.
An astounding...
16, 18? Whatever.
17, yes. An astounding admission of guilt and apology that pulls through into, hey, listen, we fucked up, but have faith in us, have trust. We did this for a reason. It was literally a big mistake, but it's exactly what we did.
Yeah. And in the space, like, you can see, because you know the way sometimes, like, if you journal, you'll come up with ideas.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is where he came up with Zoval as well.
Of course,
the big solution to the problem that he sort of teases at the end of Hit 2.
Yeah.
Man.
And this is the thing where obviously we've spoken to death about Metzen's return, but if he brings back any of the energy where he's willing to sit down and actually tell us about his ideas for the lore, his plan for the lore, the reasoning behind it, the thoughts behind some of the theming, like joke about it, to have some fun with it, and say, listen, you can trust us. These are our ideas. These are our plans. Here's what we got wrong. If at any point after BlizzCon there's literally a statement saying, hey, we understand there's a load of difficulty with like lore recently, here's our outline to solve it, because every time they do that with gameplay stuff, we're able to go, here's the feedback, thank you. Obviously lore and story is a bit different because they're not going to give us the fucking outline of the expansion.
No, you could go all narratively Skarsgård on our ass, as in
basically,
Skarsgård is there's Skarsgård and Lynx is the American CM. Lynxy?
Yeah. Yes. Is her name Bethany? Is that it?
Yeah. No. Who's the
Mate, you're gonna have to.
The stone developer.
What?
The flight stone developer. The problem is I know this person's actual.
It began with a C.
Chimes,
that's it.
Yeah, you know, I was like, I know this person's name, but I'm saying.
I was gonna say Chums. That doesn't sound right.
Chums.
Yeah, Chums. Yeah.
Oh dear. I'm imagining, it's like it's BlizzCon in 5 years, and there's like 3 WoW players left. We're all really drawn like, no, Chris Metzen's coming back. Like, no, Chris Metzen's coming back. It's fine. The great Metzen is coming. Okay, so there's that. Some statements from Chris, I think, fairly interesting, and there's an energy throughout those words that I think goes really well. And there is I suppose, an almost emotional approach to the narrative there that is just a lot better than what we get right now, where, we're just told how amazing, perfect, meaningful, and deep everything is, but it kind of doesn't really feel like that. So that's certainly a really good energy, and obviously he's went through lots of life from from then to
17
now.
years of it.
17 years of life.
Have we all? I hope.
Yeah, you learn things change.
Speak for yourself.
Change is mostly a good thing. So that he's going to be back, older and wiser, and also more able to focus, not just on one product, but on one franchise. Because look, doing narrative direction for a few products in the same franchise, yeah, that's feasible. Having to keep all of the different worlds in your head, I mean, that is the job of a lore YouTuber, not a creative director. And I actually do say that with like a little bit of purpose and self-deprecation, because there is a lot of focusing in the details and, you know, seeing the trees, not necessarily the forest. And, you know, Metzen is not the... Metzen are, you know, the people driving the lore forward. They're not the chronicler of the canon. They are the prophet.
Yeah.
In a way. That's a very grand... I'm not saying... Yes, BlizzCon 2023, Judgment Day.